Atheists and evolutionists often claim that the reason they reject religion and choose evolution is because evolution is based in fact and science. But is it really? Today we'll explore if evolution is in fact based in science or if that as well takes faith to believe in. According to the Scientific American, evolution education in the US is getting better from an article published in September 2020. The percentage of public school biology teachers who presented as the broad consensus view among scientists without presenting the creationist alternative has increased markedly since 2007. In this chart, we see that evolution as a settled science was taught 51% in 2007 and 67% in 2019. Creationism, on the other hand, was taught 8.6% and decreased 3 points to 5.6%. Clearly, evolution is gaining ground in education systems across the United States. We all know that the theory of evolution states that all life evolved from a single source. But how did it all begin? For this, we have to look to the Big Bang. According to an article published by Denise Chow and Scott Dutfield for Space.com, the Big Bang was not an explosion in space, as the theory's name might suggest. Instead, it was the appearance of space everywhere in the universe, researchers have said. According to the Big Bang theory, the universe was born as a very hot, very dense single point in space. In this chart, we see that the Big Bang was composed of many different steps, and the entire process took roughly 13.7 billion years. A summary of these steps is displayed here. The first step was inflation. 13 billion years ago, the universe grew exponentially and doubled in size at least 90 times. Next, recombination. 380,000 years after the Big Bang, matter cooled enough for electrons to combine with nuclei to form neutral atoms, unleashing light. Reionization. 400 million years after the Big Bang, clumps of gas collapsed enough to form the very first stars and galaxies. Next, the solar system was formed 9 billion years after the Big Bang from a giant rotating cloud of gas and dust known as the solar nebula. Finally, dark matter was responsible for the motion of everything in space. It's the force that is constantly pulling everything in the cosmos apart at ever-increasing speeds. But it remains undetected and shrouded in mystery, thought to make up 80% of the universe. Scientists are still researching and learning more about this. According to Mario Alamy, in his book The Amazing Journey of Reason, he states that the universe now has a structure which makes possible the creation of more complex matter beyond simple hydrogen and helium. And then finally, Richard Dawkins writes in his book The Selfish Gene, at some point, a particularly remarkable molecule was formed by accident. We will call it the replicator. It may not necessarily have been the biggest or the most complex molecule around, but it had the extraordinary property of being able to create copies of itself. Replicators became genes, and genes continue to evolve today in organisms. Replicators formed complex machines to protect themselves, and these machines became plants, animals, and humans. Essentially, humans contain large collections of replicators. So in summary, the Big Bang occurs, the universe is formed over 13 billion years, and then complex life forms by accident. But this is all supposed to be completely based in science. Furthermore, scientists make more claims against God, such as there is no scientific proof that God exists. They simply reject the biblical account. Why does God not just reveal himself to the world is another question that they ask. It would make things much simpler and end all debates. And if God exists, then who created God and why does God exist is another question that they ask. If we go back to our illustration here of the Big Bang, we can actually ask the same questions of the evolutionists. What caused the Big Bang? Why did it happen? Why is physical matter able to come from nothing? There are no answers to these questions, which means that even evolutionists and scientists have to depend on faith. So we have two options. We can have faith in God, or we can have faith in evolution. If we believe in God, we accept that the universe was created intelligently and purposefully by an eternal and everlasting God. If we have faith in evolution, we believe that a random explosion of space led to the evolution of life over billions of years. In Psalms 92, we read, "Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the productive land. From everlasting to everlasting, you are God. We don't need to provide an explanation for the existence of God because he simply is eternal, has no beginning and no end. But if we believe in evolution, there is no explanation for where physical matter came from that started the entire process. In Hebrews 3:4 we read, "For every house is built by someone, but the builder of all things is God." If we believe in evolution, however, there is no explanation for why intelligent design exists in the world. So what really draws people to atheism and evolution? The first reason is pride. People want to be able to explain everything in the world through science and their own knowledge, instead of acknowledging that there is something greater than themselves. In Psalms 74, verse 22, we read, "Arise, O God, defend your cause. Remember how the foolish scoff at you all the day." The world has always been full of the foolish who scoff at the existence of God and choose instead to depend on their own knowledge. We read in Psalms 22:4 that humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches, honor, and life. Another reason that people are drawn to atheism and evolution is fear of being accountable to God. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. Luke 16:13. It's easier for most people to serve their own ambitions and goals instead of acknowledging the existence of God and being held accountable to a higher power. So in conclusion, but ask the beasts and they will teach you, the birds of the heavens and they will tell you, or the bushes of the earth and they will teach you, and the fish of the sea will declare to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of all mankind. Job 12:7-10. Thank you for your time, and we hope you enjoyed this video from Injili Media.